And welcome to Baby Bear. Baby Bear is the cutest little stamp. I think he's really adorable. He comes in, he's photopolymer because we're going to want to see through. He's one of the layered stamps so that you do him in 3 different layers. So I'm going to practice with him a little bit before we actually get going with making a card with him. And we have, and you'll see the numbers are next to them. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to do it in a couple different ways, and for some reason the camera keeps shutting off tonight just to make me crazy. I'll bring it down a little so that I can see it before it happens. All right, so I have a piece of Whisper White to work with, and I'm going to use crumb cake and chocolate chip, and we're going to see different ways that you can do this, all right? So it's a really good experiment. The first thing I'm going to do, we've done this with a couple other ones. The cupcake one, I think might have been the first one that we did with. I'm just trying to look to see if I can tell you which one it was. And there's a couple of different ways. You can use different color inks, or you can use stamping off. So let's just see what happens. The first thing I did when I get a stamp like this, the first thing I do is I stamp each one of the stamps so I can look at them and figure out what's the best way and how's it's going to look best. So this is the E block. And let's make sure our little dude fits on there. And he does. Okay, and when you do this, you're going to want to make a little note for yourself and tell you so that you know what you're doing. And I'm going to use, let's use chocolate chip so you guys can see it really well. And one of the things you want to do with a really big stamp like this is, can you see the kind of bubbles in it? It's bubbles between the stamp and the glass block, and it potentially will not give me a good, nice, smooth stamp. So I want to make sure that I get the stamp really stuck. No air bubbles underneath it, so that when I stamp this, I get a nice, clean image. So you just kind of work with it. If you're still getting one stuck, you can peel it up and start back here. This is a really big surface area for this bear. So now I'm going to make sure I get good coverage all over the bear, and I can look down and see I don't have anything in the middle. Make sure I work on that, and I make sure I have ink all over him. What's nice about the clear, I can look through and see what's going on. Now that kind of smirch that's in there, that's going to show up. So I'm going to want to come over that again, and now you can see the smirch has disappeared, right? Okay. So you kind of fuss with it a little bit, especially on this layer. And I'm going to come down, and I'm going to do nice, even pressure over the whole bear. No rocking. Now, I'm doing layers. This is supposed to look like an antique bear, so it's not a problem necessarily, but you can see that I didn't get enough ink in the middle. This is my practice sheet, so I'm going to do it again. It was also the first time I've used the stamp, and sometimes I find that that doesn't give me as good a coverage as I would like. See how I smeared that? That's going to stamp smear. I don't want that. So keep going, and you get to go back until you get what you think you want. Again, a smirch. I don't want a smirch. I'm still getting a line. Hold on. I'm being fussy. Much better. Now let's see if this looks any better. Another way that you can get a good solid image with a stamp this big is to pick it up and press with your hands. So you can do it this way and press down. All right, so lots of different options to get a good solid stamp. It takes, it's a new word, Kathy. Kathy's laughing at my smirch word. So it takes some practice, and especially one this big. It's a big stamp. All right, so we're going to work on that a little bit. I'm going to do another one. But before I stamp it, I'm going to grab my Stampin' Scrub and start clean. Because you'll notice I kind of got some on the edges, and I don't want to have a mess on my paper. So this is practice. Practice makes perfect. And the more you stamp with your stamps, the better they get. Remember, you have a dry side and a wet side, and you use your Stampin' Mist on the wet side. Okay, we're going to try one more time and see how this goes. Part of the trouble I'm having, that looks much better, right up here, something I don't really like. There. All right, I'm just going to commit and go with it. So I can flip this over and smear it down with my hand. Make sure that your pressure is even over the entire stamp, not just on one edge or another. You can pick it up and kind of push. Make sure you get the middle. And you can see he's much better than I got. This is supposed to be there. That's where the bow's going to go, so no need to worry. But you can see that he got better as I went along. All right? Okay, so that's stamp number 1. Now I need stamp number 2. And the numbers are right next to them on the clear carrier sheet. Turn it over, you can see that it's right side up. See, there's number 2. All right, and same thing, I'm going to do this, and I want to see what it looks like, because it's hard to tell really in the clear stamp what it's actually going to look like when you stamp it. I thought I had another E-block, but I don't. So we will clean this baby off. Wet, dry. See? Now, you're noticing that my stamp kind of has a pink tinge. It's because it picked up the color from my ink, and it just shows that I've used it. It doesn't hurt it at all. It's not going to turn pink or make, looking for the other piece, it's not going to make my neck, if I use a different color, it's not going to come off. It's just stained the photopolymer. I'm okay with it. If that really bothers you and you don't want your stamps to do that, you can stamp them first with Versamark. Versamark is a clear ink, and if you use that first, it will not completely eliminate that issue, but it will make it less noticeable. So let's try this so that you can see. And I'm just going to stamp this off a few times, the Versamark. And now I'm ready to go with this. And again, same thing. Make sure that I get good coverage and I can look down through and see that I've got a pretty good coverage of the bear. Now this is number 2. Really press down, get a good solid. And he looks pretty cool. Okay, so that's number 2. Now let's see what this looks like when I clean it, now that I used Versamark on this one. So you can see the difference and why you would want to do that if you don't like your stamps to have a color, a stain. Doesn't hurt them, they work fine. But the darker color inks they pick up. You can see he doesn't look as stained. He still has a little bit of stain, but nowhere near what this guy does. Okay, so that's what Versamark can do for you if you want. So you can, let me put these guys together. All right, so he's kind of a tinge, but not as purpley as this one is. All right, and now we need 3. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to Versamark this guy so we can see how he looks. Need to get him right in the middle. So when you get a stamp like this guy, who's a big one, you're going to want to play with it a little bit, kind of warm him up, get him ready. You know, before you put him to work, he's got to do a little exercising before he goes out on a jog. All right, and now I'm ready to do, this is number 3. Now, you can do these with different color inks. When you're doing your layering, or we can do some stamping off. Look how much detail is on number 3. Right? These guys all get layered together. Okay, so how do we do it? Well, first we're going to, I like to do them in reverse, which sounds totally crazy. This is stamp number 3. Why am I doing it first? I like it first. So let me show you how I like to do them. And again, this is an experiment. You will get a different look every time, but this is how I like to do it. So I take stamp number 3 and I ink him all up. So he's my detail bear. Get him good and inked. Okay, and he's gonna go right, let me bring this up a little so you can see him better. He's gonna go right here. Good solid push. That's first. Next, and I'm going to clean off my block because I'm going to get really annoyed if I mess it up. My stamp isn't as big a deal as my block would be, or my finger. Okay, so now I want block number 2. Take off number 3. I'm going to use the same color for this one. I'll show you what to do, how we do it with a different color in a minute. I'm still using chocolate chip. Right, this is my card that I'm working on. All right. For number 2, I'm going to do stamp off once. Like, what are you talking about? I'm going to ink this baby up. Get nice and inky. This is number 2. This is the middle layer. And I'm going to stamp it off once on scrap paper over here. And I'm going to just stamp him off. And then I'm going to bring my card in that I want, and I've got to line this up. Now, if you look real close, you can see how to do it because you can see right down through. And you're going to line up his nose, his ears, and his feet. Get him where you want him. And then stamp. See the different shades of the color that I got? Okay, now I need stamp. I'm gonna move this out of the way so I don't get it icky, because that's the one I'm working on. I'm gonna clean this. So having extra E-blocks make less cleaning necessary, because you could just go from stamp to stamp to stamp. You can manage with just one. And then I'm gonna get number 3 and put this on here. Now remember, I stamped off once with number 2. I'm gonna stamp off twice with this one. Hold on, I did it backwards. This is the one I did first. This is kind of why you make yourself a cheat sheet. This is the last one. Even though he is bear number 1, he's bear number 1, he's my last one, not my first one. I will have a cheat sheet that I post with this video for you so that you can remember my way. Kathy says she cleans after each stamping anyway, so this isn't more work. She doesn't mind doing this. All right, so this is bear number 1. I'm using it at the end. So I go backwards, 3, 2, 1. But I'm gonna again move you over here. This is my scratch pad, and I'm gonna ink this up because I'm gonna stamp off twice. This is a way to get this by only using one ink pad. I'll show you what it looks like if we use 2 ink pads in a minute. So there's 1 and 2. And now bring this guy in, and now we're gonna stamp and line him up. It helps if you line up his neck and the little belly divots. I'll show you what I mean by that. Another one of my weird words. Right down here where his belly is. And look what you got. Isn't that cool? I always love these. After you do it, you're just like, I am so good. Right? Isn't that amazing? Doesn't that look like you bought it? You know? Love it. I love that. Okay, so that's one way to do it. Now let's do it with 2 different inks. All right, we're gonna do it with Crumb Cake, which is a lighter color, and our chocolate chip. Same deal. We're gonna do it the same backwards way. We're gonna do our darkest color. Our chocolate chip is the detail layer. So that one's gonna go first. So that is actually bear number 3, just to make life crazy, right? All right, so let's clean up this guy. All right. And take you off. And sometimes it helps if you line your stamps up so you can see them. There's 1. Here's 2, and here's, I have one upside down. Now technically, according to the piece of paper, this is bear number 3, 2, 1. But we're gonna stamp them 3, 2, 1, all right? Okay, so let's get bear number 3. And again, I said I'm going to use the darkest to the lightest. So I'm going to use chocolate chip as my dark one. Just trying to think if I have another one I can use so I can get 3. I could bring soft suede in. Yeah, let's do that. We'll do 3. We will bring in crumb cake, soft suede, and chocolate chip. So chocolate chip gets this one. This is the one with the details, remember? So this goes first. And you can decide which way you like it better. Okay. That is chocolate chip. Now we're going to take this guy, clean him up. And I'll move these back so you can see. Clean him up. And then we're going to go with bear number 2. And I'm kind of zoomed in because I want you to see all the details. He is going to be soft suede. So I have kind of a small space to work in here. But I want you to see how detailed he is. Cheryl asked a great question. How do you know what color inks to use? I will tell you which ones I'm using, but you, as you see with chocolate chip, he's just done with one color and stamping off. So you're just going to try. I'm going to do another one, and I'm going to use pinks. So you can see how that would look if you wanted a pink bear. All right, so the hardest part is lining this guy up and looking down through, and then just seriously do it. Now this is, see, now this guy's a little too dark, I think. Exactly, right, Cheryl? So this I used the soft suede rather than the doing the stamp off. Sorry, I just had like a cold moment there, I guess. Those of you watching me on Facebook, I had a massive head cold this weekend. And I'm still a little fuzzy. These guys all know that because they were supposed to spend the day with me. And I ended up canceling, which I never do. All right, here's this one. This is our last one, and we're going to use the lightest crumb cake and see what happens. So we are deciding whether you like using different color inks or whether you think that the stamp off with the same ink. I am the most matchy-matchy person in the universe. So for me, I like the stamping off method. But he's a really cool bear too. You get a really different look. So this is done using just chocolate chip and stamping off so that you can get all the different layers. This one is 3 different colors. It's a different look, but I do like the first one because I think you can really get the look that you're going for by using the stamping off, okay? All right, so we're gonna do one more of these. We're gonna do the one that's actually gonna go on the card now. So let's pop up our card, and this is a regular A2. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I have to decide, I think I'm gonna go this way with it. And then I have a piece of Blushing Bride that's gonna go right here. And I can do this much together, and then I'm gonna stamp my bear with my snail. Now this time, I'm gonna make a pink bear. And I have a piece of Whisper White that's gonna go right on top, okay? All right, so let's bring, but this is where our bear is gonna go. So remember, I need to clean this off because I'm gonna go with pink now instead of my chocolate. right, and I'm going to just double check that all of these are clean because I did wash them, but I'm kind of changing up my palette to go with a lighter color. And I don't want to have any chocolate left over, although it wouldn't be bad. Okay, there's all three. And now let's see. I'm going to grab my, I thought I had it here earlier, but maybe I didn't. My Blushing Bride ink. And I'm going to do the stamp off. Now this is really pastel. It's going to look really different, but we're going to give it a try and see how this looks. So we're going to start with bear number 1. It's actually bear number 3. I know. It's our first bear, the detailed bear. And I'm going to ink him up. Now this is a really light ink. And we're going to stamp him on there. Okay. Now, clean this one off. And put this one in place. This one, I'm going to stamp off once. This is the bear in the middle. So I ink him all up, good and inky. And I'm going to stamp him off once. Now I'm going to come over here and line him up. Stamp him down. Okay. Now I'm ready for my third bear, my last one. Stamp and scrub. It's still wet, so I don't have to spray anymore because it's still wet on the wet side. Bring this guy back in the middle. And now you. This one's going to get stamped off twice. Ink him up. And stamp off. Stamp off. Okay? And now I'm ready to line this up. And once I push it down, I'll show you what I'm looking at. I'm using the 2 neck points and these 2 points down here to line up my bear. I love the pink, right? Now I've also got a bow, which I'm going to do the pink bow, but I'm going to fussy cut this because I don't want to, I could just stamp on it. Maybe I do. You know what? Let's test it over here. Let's see what the pink bow looks like if I just come up here and do it. See, I can still see the bear through. I don't really like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp my bow right here. Close this up so I don't make a disaster of myself. And I'm going to fussy cut my bow and add that to my bear. Now, we've done it in class before, but I'll do a video this week on how I could have masked this bow, and I could have done that without having to cut it. I'll add another one to the blog later this week on how you could do that. I'm in love with this bear. Okay. And she's ready to go right here. Isn't it the sweetest card? Oh, love it. Simple. I'm going to use the Hello Baby, and I'm going to stay with the pink because I really am a matchy-matchy person. So I'm going to add Hello Baby. This stamp set is Baby Bear. Isn't he cute? It's got welcome to the world, love you very much, hello baby, thank you, something for baby, to hug and to hold from this day forward. But wouldn't it be cute even in like the Christmas scene under the tree? I just really like this bear. And it's such a good size. All right, so hello baby's coming on the top. Now, all right, so hello baby. I'm sorry, Baby Bear is the stamp set. Blushing Bride is the ink that I'm using. And I'm going to go with our mini dimensionals because my bows are really little. On either side of the bow. Oh, Kathy, baby boys are so sweet. We have a baby girl coming any day. Oh, how about this? I like this better. Down there. Okay. He could have gone on his head, but, and I'm going to pop these up. And I have the minis out. So minis are what's going. Babies just smell so good. Can you tell that I'm going to be a new Grammy this really soon? I'm already starting to get excited. Lucy is coming by the middle of October. All right. There we go. There is Hello Baby. What do you think? It looks like a picture. It really, that stamp comes out so cool. And then we still have these over here that we worked on. Here's my original. All right, so remember, stamping off. Here he is. Here's stamping off or 3 different colors. This guy, if I took my white marker and kind of highlight the eyes, this is the chalk marker, the Stampin' Up! Chalk marker. I'm going to get a little bit better look because his eyes just kind of get lost in there, and maybe a little bit on the nose too, just a little highlight. I could do a Wink of Stella on it too, but just something to bring his eyes out, especially with the dark colors. He tends to fade. Kathy, this would look really cool if you did it with the blues. Same kind of idea, right? All right, everybody, thanks so much for coming tonight. Tomorrow night is Paper Pumpkin. If you have not subscribed to Paper Pumpkin and want to just see what it's all about, come on in, see how we do that. And if you did subscribe, bring your pumpkin kit with you so that you can play. I got a lot of things going on this week on the blog. Make sure that you're subscribed. I know you guys all are that are here in the classroom. Remember, you can always come in the classroom anytime you want. You just have to click on the link that I usually post when I tell you about a class, and you're welcome to come. Debbie, did you order Simple Surprise? Let me look. I have my list right here. Let me say bye, Facebook, and we'll see you all soon. And you guys hold on and I'll tell you who did.